Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today. This is week 3 of the Stitch Pink sew along for the Together quilt. And so hopefully you've been sewing along with us the last 2 weeks. If not, it's not too late to join in. You can always go back and watch the previous videos. And I always say, just jump in where you're at. So if you haven't started yet and you're thinking you might want to try, just jump in and sew along with us this week. This week we will be making 5 different blocks. They're all the same but with different fabrics. 3 of them will be identical to this one, and then there are 2 different colorways that you'll be making. I think I can show them to you up here. This is one of the other colorways you'll be making. It has the coral hearts instead of the pink, and then it has different red fabrics over here. And the other one you'll be making, I don't know if this can be seen unless I pick it up a little bit. It's all the red fabrics. So, and you use the polka dots in that section. So anyway, we're going to go through this step by step. I have a lot of tips and tricks to show you, especially for these little strip pieced hearts, and just some ideas that will make it go together, and when you press it, it will be very flat and also go together more quickly and easily and more accurately too. So let's get started. Okay, so it's week 3 and let's get started. You might notice in your pattern that this week's block actually appears in the pattern before the alternate block that we did last. I thought I had put the pattern in the order that I wanted to do the videos, but then I realized that this was going to take a little bit more time and be a little bit more time intensive, and that it would probably be best for its own week. So I just switched that up slightly. So hopefully that'll be fine. This block is called the Strip Pieced Heart plus the Simple Heart block, and there are 4 of them, and you're going to actually be making, so there are 4 different hearts in the block, 2 of the simple hearts and 2 of the strip piece blocks, and you're actually going to be making 5 of these blocks. So since it's going to be a little bit more time intensive with the strip piecing, I just thought it would be great to give you an entire week to make these blocks. But that being said, they're not hard, they're not difficult, they're just a few more steps than some of the other blocks. And once again, the mini simple folded corners ruler is going to be really helpful. Okay, so for each block, this is just for one of the 5 blocks. You're going to need 4 of the rectangles for your top strips. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got those here. And then the same going down, 4 of the daisy. If you're making it just like the pattern, 4 of the weave fabric. And then I repeated the dots back at the end. So for me, the easiest way was to get those strips cut and just kind of laid out in the order that they're going to be. And just to note also, we're going to make these first because we've already made these blocks, so I don't have really anything new to tell you about those today. So just going to concentrate on these blocks because these are made exactly like some of the blocks that we've made earlier. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to sew these strips together. And I've already got mine sewn. And I want to show you because the pressing on these is really important. Okay. So, and I just did 1, for example. So these will be the 2 pieces that would make one of these blocks, and you would have to do the same thing to make the other block. But if you'll notice, I pressed 1 of the strip sets up and 1 of the strip sets down. And that is so when I put them together, those seams will nest and everything can be really flat on the back. So I was really intentional about my pressing for this so that it would make it more flat in the end. The other thing you'll notice is that these pieces are quite a bit bigger than the heart block themselves. And that's because it's really easy to get these off. So I oversize these, and we're going to trim them down to the size that we need before we start adding our background squares. So to me, that was just another way to ensure accuracy, to make these a little bit bigger than needed and then to trim them down. And so I've got them trimmed down here. And at this point, it really is just like the simple block. At this point, you're going to be doing everything the same. You know, it's just that these are strip piece sections and these are just solid sections. So this is really the part of it that's new, but I just love the effect that it gave to have those strip pieced sections in the quilt. And so you're going to use your larger squares. You're going to put those right sides together. At the bottom. And remember, these are going to be mirror images. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the simple folded corners ruler and cut those. And so if that side goes that way, sometimes if you get confused, either cut everything that's going to go one direction at the same time and then cut everything going the other direction right after, or cut them together in pairs so that you can make sure. And we'll just sew these seam allowances here. I'll do the same thing for these. Okay, so I will actually take these over to the sewing machine and sew them and press them and come back and show you quickly again how to do the tops. I know we've done those before, but I'll just go through it quickly one more time. Okay, I'm back from the sewing machine and the iron, and I'll just show you. I did go ahead and sew those. You'll want to be sure that you press one out and one in. Again, this is so that they will nest when you put them together. So this one has been pressed out toward the background fabric, and this one has been pressed in toward the strip set. And it honestly doesn't matter which one goes in and which one goes out, as long as they are pressed differently so that you can line up those seams, so that you can nest those seams when you put it together. And what I love about this is that when you nest those seams, all of these little seams will also nest. Before you sew that together though, you will need to add the background squares up at the top of the block as I did on this one. So, and it's going to be the same way. You're going to take the squares, right sides together, use the mini simple folded corners ruler. I'll go ahead and cut these. I do one at a time. They actually, if you put the squares down, you'll notice they actually do both fit, but it's still easier for me. I don't like to have to worry about something falling off. So I'm going to cut that one. Okay, and then those will go over to the sewing machine, and then you'll repeat it on the other side and you'll end up with this. And what I did here is also, these two outer squares can be pressed out. That doesn't matter. What does matter is that in the middle, that you've done the same thing that you did at the bottom here, and that you've pressed them in two different directions so that these will nest. And so when this goes together, it's going to net, the top is going to nest and the bottom is going to nest, because those squares have been pressed in the opposite direction. And I know I went over this in the earlier videos, but just in case someone's, you know, jumping in right now and starting at this point, I wanted to do that. And the other thing I wanted to mention on this block, if you are following along and making the blocks exactly as the pattern dictates, there are a few places where you will have to worry about that directional fabric. So these large pink blocks, this is one of the places where you have to worry about it. These strip piece sections, they are not directional, so you're okay right there. Let me just look and let you know which other pieces that you might have to double check on this. For the red blocks, you're going to make 3 like this, and then you're going to make 1 with red fabrics. And in that block, the only thing that you'll need to worry about are the little X's, the little crosses. And then the other block that you're going to make 1 of will have this same heart print in the coral, and so you'll have to note the direction on that. And it also has the little red X's in one of the strip piece sections. So you'll have to be aware of that. But once you get these all put together for each block, you'll make 2 of the strip piece and 2 of the simple, and you'll put them together. And so, yes, you will be making 5 blocks this week, but the simple parts go together super quickly, and the strip piece parts are really a lot of fun. Okay, so that's it for this week's block tutorial. I hope you have a lot of fun making these blocks. Next week we will be making the sashings and the 9-patch sections. So you will actually have all of the blocks finished up after today and be ready to make all of those complementary sections next week. And we will see you then. If you enjoyed this video, we'd love it if you'd share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the like button. Thanks so much for stopping by.